It's 2022. I'm in grade 10 and I'm at a shopping center waiting for my date to arrive. It's my first ever date. I've got the best fit I have on in my backpack. I have a water bottle and I have condoms for an 11 a.m. date at a shopping center in grade 10. So, spoiler alert, they did not get used. Anyway, um, I'm here. I'm waiting for her to arrive. And my plan is we're going to go see a movie at the cinema and then we're going to go, what was it? We're going to either get lunch or we're going to like go to the arcade. And that's not planned. We've just planned the movie, but that's what I'm hoping. And my plan is basically I'm going to put in the energy that she puts in. So if she's really into me, then great. I'll be really into it as well. But if she's kind of just not interested, then it'll be weird if I'm putting in all this energy, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just going to match her energy. So I get a text that she's here and I see her and she's just over there. And she walks up slowly, way too slowly. And we say hi to each other and we start going up to the cinema. And we're on the escalator and we're just standing still, which is really awkward. And it's been about 20 seconds since we've said hi of just silence, awkward silence. So I know that I need to say something, right? Because she's not saying anything. I need to say something. So I try and rack my brain to think, like, what should I say? Come on, Ivor, think. And I have to say just the only thing I can think of, which is, do you have money? And she says, oh, yeah, I do. Why? Do you need me to pay for you? And I say, no, no, all good. I've got money. I'm just checking that you do. Very smooth, I know. So after that, we're back in silence. And for the next like minute or so, we just walk up in silence. And we sit down, we get tickets, we sit down in the cinema and we just go on our phones and the movie starts. And we watch the whole movie just in silence. Thank God she's not a movie talker. That's good. And we get to the end of the movie and I'm a bit bummed out that the first half didn't go well. But I'm also not too worried because really that was just us warming up, right? We're getting familiar with each other. So we've still got time to cook. And so we get up, we stand up to go out of the cinema. And I ask her, like, what do you want to do now? And I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that she'll say, like, do you want to get lunch? I'm really hungry as well. And she says, oh, I think I'm just going to go home. And my heart just sinks. My plans are ruined. She doesn't like me. It's over. But then she says, but I'm just going to walk. My brother's going to pick me up. He works at one of these shops and I don't know where it is. So let's walk together and find it. So I'm like, okay, Ivor, you have a chance here. You have from now until when she gets to the store to convince her to go on another date with you because this date's over. So come on, lock in, Ivor. And so we start walking and I'm trying to think of what to say again, but she's not really saying anything. So again, I'm trying to match her vibe. I'm not gonna like go too crazy. I'm just trying to keep it chill. So I say like, how do you find the movie? And she says, good. And then we go back to silence. And we walk for maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so in silence before she gets to a jewelry store and says, all right, my brother works here. Guess this is the end. And that was the end of our date. And as I walked back to the bus for my 30-minute bus ride home by myself after a date where I only said maybe 15 sentences, I'm reflecting on where it all went wrong. And I realized that I didn't put in enough effort at the start to kind of get this conversation started. So I reflected on this more like since then. I realized there's where you are at the start when you just meet someone, and that's in like the small talk zone. You're strangers, really. Then there's a brick wall, and on the other side of that brick wall, there is like true connection and deeper conversations, right? And during the date, at the start in particular, I was just tapping on that wall, just going like this. I wasn't really trying to break it down. I was expecting my date to get out a hammer and smash that wall down. And that never happened, which means we stayed in that zone of basically just being strangers for the whole day. So I realized this, and I realized that on my next date, I was determined to smash that wall myself. I was going to pick up the hammer straight away. So it's 3 years later, and I finally got another date. Ignore why I went 3 years with no dates. That's a whole another story. And as soon as it starts, I just start talking. I start asking her questions. I'm not just rambling, I'm asking her questions, right? And at the start, she's really nervous. She's giving one-word answers, and it's just small talk, right? But after a couple minutes of this, we start to get into deeper conversation territory. And I know that I've broken down the wall. And it was all me, it wasn't her. I didn't wait for her to do it. And once we'd broken down this wall, we started talking. And we talked for hours on this date. I mean, we didn't really get along that much, but that was fine. Basically, by the end of the date, she was driving the conversation. She was asking me all the questions. So what I've learned from this whole thing was, and what I think you can learn from this, if you maybe haven't gone on too many dates, or if they've gone badly, or you just wanted to listen to an entertaining story, I think you can't expect her to be interested and express her interest straight off the bat. You can't expect her to just start the conversation. You need to put in extra effort. And even if she isn't putting in that effort, that doesn't mean she's not interested. You put in that effort, and then it becomes more clear that she's interested. So for the first 15 minutes or so, it's probably going to be one-sided. It's probably going to be mostly you talking, right? Or mostly you asking questions, and her just giving kind of dry answers and asking less questions. But when you keep doing this, she will open up and she will start talking as well. And I never got to this point on my first date, but I did on my second one, and it went much better. So don't be afraid to get out the hammer and start smashing the wall, breaking it down. On my first date, when we were walking around at the end, there is no way her brother worked in that jewelry store. That was just an excuse. She was interested, and I just didn't know it because she didn't know how, or wasn't willing to start the conversation and start really talking. And obviously the perfect girl would talk to me and would be able to do that, but at the time you cannot expect that, right? You cannot expect the perfect girl to do everything perfectly. Sometimes you have to just do the stuff yourself. So in a way, I failed this girl, and I failed to prove myself, and I failed to get the conversation going. So next time you are on a date, get out the hammer and start smashing down that wall. Otherwise, you will not build any meaningful connections. And she wants you to smash down the wall. Don't wait for her. Here you go. Go and smash it.